Hajra is the winger. Whenever she's passing, we are biting.
My first camp was in 2010, January, and now this is October 2020. So that's 10 straight years. And good enough time to, I feel like, compare what the scene is now and what it was then. Um, Number one, I feel like the management and the federation and the coach, especially Danny, at this point has been fantastic in terms of our training routines. He knows how to emphasize and work on our skill, our individual skills, any position on the field. Right, he's pushing it. He's pushing every player. We've had some injuries, and he's been fantastic in terms of support, in terms of getting the players the proper rehab they need. I feel like just players, not just me, but all the players on the team feel very respected at this point because that's one thing that we were lacking a lot in the past 10 years, that the players were not getting any respect. And now I feel like that's one thing that has given a lot of confidence to all the young girls. We have a very young team right now. And, if we keep it up this way, I feel like we can go a long way as a united team, as a united federation management organization. I feel like we just got to keep pushing.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Danny and the coaches. How do you think that specifically has changed in terms of the football development that's going to occur with this young squad and even the senior players like yourself?
I feel like coaching has been my number one sort of. I don't want to use the word, but like a demotivator or like a factor that I completely would not disregard when it comes to women's football in Pakistan. I played in the Maldives. I trained in Germany. I was in DC last year, and it's the training that I crave. My goal is not the spot on the team. It's just A-class training where you actually develop an athlete's skill and not like train them to play or work on their stamina only. Football is a very technical and a tactical game, and if we don't use our coaches' experiences correctly on our players, we're never going to get anywhere. 10 years ago, हमारा morning warm up होता था half hour का run. 2014 until 2014, jab football रुक गया, we had been running for half hour every morning, every session just to warm up. And now it's more dynamic, it's more modern, it's more forward thinking, it's more agile, it's working more on the athlete. Other than that, it's the management, the coaches. I feel like a coach is somebody who's also a leader, who is also an empath, who is also passionate about what he does, and not just getting credentials on their resume. So I feel like it has actually been a pleasure training with Danny. The moment we stopped playing back in 2015, that same moment I started working on how we can get it back as soon as possible. And it's been a long fight. And I'm not saying I'm the only one who's fought for it. There's other senior players who are crazy about football, who are crazy about representing the country. They're patriots, they're empaths, they're fantastic players. And we've just been trying to push it. My motivation kind of came from having to play it abroad and bring that experience here, and finally, being vocal in my actions in terms of training with other teams and clubs. Even right now, we were having a session about mental health for athletes. That's something that I've been advocating for quite a while. And during the lockdown, a lot of players had stopped earning. A lot of players had lost fitness, and it was just really getting on them. So even though this week is just a week long, I feel like I have the responsibility to kind of, evolve, nourish these players to become better players in the future. It's a young team. We have 3 championships next year. And, if I can contribute in any way, I'm ready.
So lastly, I just want to ask, you mentioned the youth that this squad has and your responsibility as a senior player. What are your thoughts on the upcoming players that have come in, the young players, and what do you think about the quality that they have?
The best part is, so when I started young, I was 14 when I started back in 2008. And a senior player on my team would be 25 plus, right? That's a senior player. And right now, if you say a senior player, it's probably somebody who's 24, 25, 26. And we have seen more players, who've been there, but it's monumentally important that these players who are coming in they have the knowledge, they have the technical knowledge, they have the tactical knowledge. They've been watching football like crazy. They've been following women's football. And so like you can have a conversation with them. It's never a boring chat, more time in the room, because you speak about quality football. You're discussing the future. You're discussing how these 15-year-olds, these 16, 18, 19-year-olds can contribute to a great, maybe like a rank on the podium someday. So I'm quite hopeful, honestly. This is our last game. It's not the end of the world. So if you have any injuries, if you think you cannot play no more, you help the team out, be a good team player, and you leave the field. Somebody else.